Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So there's something I want to talk about today that came up in the Epstein video that I published on Monday. And this is definitely going to get demonetized. The video is not probably, it will get buried by YouTube because they're not going to make any ad revenue off of this. So please, as I've asked before, share this with everyone you know. You can even share it via text. So if you are, on your phone watching this, you can click the share button and there's the little link there. You can share it via email, you can share it via text with other people, but more people need to see this and hear about this because in the latest tranche of Epstein documents that were released, the DOJ shared part of a signed sworn statement from a woman who used the pseudonym Tiffany Doe. I was thinking about it and I was wondering, why didn't they provide the entire document? It's a 2-page document. So I wanted to read this to you guys because I think a lot of people, and I even saw on other shows, people weren't aware that this document, this Tiffany Doe statement, which was a sworn statement under penalty of perjury, this was a very crucial part of the Katie Johnson accusations against Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. And for anyone who didn't catch my previous video or who isn't familiar with this document, this sworn statement was included in the Katie Johnson lawsuit against both of them. So Katie Johnson is the woman who accused Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein in 2016 of assaulting her and beating her when she was 13 years old. And her witness, Tiffany Doe, is the woman who allegedly recruited Katie. So here is part one, or part of page one, I should say, because the type is, or the font is so small. So I wanted you guys to be able to see it. So I'll be sharing 4 different parts of this so you can see it. So this part just attests to the fact that she's over 18. She is competent to testify if she was called upon to do so. It says that she met Jeffrey Epstein in New York in 1990 when she was 22 years old. So this woman was an adult when she met not Donald Trump, when she met Jeffrey Epstein. And then she claims that she attended Epstein's parties. She was then paid to, quote unquote, entertain guests. She doesn't say what that means, but we can all assume based on what we know. And then she says in 1991, she was promoted to the occupation of party planner. She said, in which my duties were to get attractive adolescent women to attend these parties. Now, I take issue with the term adolescent women because that's like just what's the phrase? It doesn't make sense. You can't be an adolescent and a woman. But anyway, she then provides Epstein's address and she says, this is where the parties were held. And then here's what the bottom half of this first page says. So this is, kind of the meat of everything. So the recruiter says that she met Katie Johnson in 1994. She was acting as a recruiter at that time. She says she met her at the New York Port Authority and that Katie Johnson, which again is an alias, but she said she was looking to break into the modeling industry. So this recruiter, this Tiffany Doe, again an alias, convinces her to come to parties at Epstein's home in the summer of 1994. So, these again are held in New York at Jeffrey Epstein's mansion. There's so many people out there, mostly on the MAGA right, who still think, oh, if you didn't go to the island, then you didn't do anything wrong. No, wrong, false. He was doing this shit all over the world at his properties in Florida, in New York, in New Mexico, in the UK. I mean, this was happening everywhere. So anyway, Um, Tiffany Doe tells Katie Johnson, hey, there's going to be people at these parties that can help you with your career, help you get into modeling, so you need to come. And then in paragraph 7 here, it says, quote, it was at these series of parties that I personally witnessed the plaintiff being forced to perform various sexual acts with Donald J. Trump and Mr. Epstein. Both Mr. Trump and Mr. Epstein were advised that she was 13 years old. Okay. And then she goes on in paragraph 8 to say, I personally witnessed 4 sexual encounters that the plaintiff was forced to have with Mr. Trump during this period, including the 4th of these encounters where Mr. Trump forcibly raped her despite her pleas to stop. Now, these are just accusations, but again, this Tiffany Doe, whoever she is, was an adult when she signed this in 2016. She was already an adult in 1994. She was 22 years old. Okay. So she is now a middle-aged woman in 2016 when she signed this under penalty of perjury, meaning you can go to prison, meaning you can spend up to 5 years in prison, I believe it is. Sorry, guys, I have a hair on me somewhere that I can't get. But she would go to prison if she is lying about this. Okay, and then here's the second page. So this is the top of the second page that talks about how a 12-year-old disappeared after being abused by Donald Trump. Again, allegations, but it says, I personally witnessed the one occasion where Mr. Trump forced the plaintiff, meaning Katie Johnson, and a 12-year-old female named Maria perform oral sex on Mr. Trump and witnessed his physical abuse of both minors when they finished the act. And then she goes on to say, that, Epstein also abused Katie Johnson. And then in section 12, she says, I personally witnessed Mr. Trump physically threaten the life and well-being of the plaintiff if she ever revealed any details of the physical and sexual abuse suffered by her at the hands of Mr. Trump. Okay, now we're going to move on to the final section of the second page. So this is the part, or at least a portion of this, was shared by the DOJ. So here it is again for anyone who didn't see it. The recruiter, this Tiffany Doe, confirms that she witnessed both Mr. Trump and Epstein threaten Katie Johnson, that she was and then that Tiffany Doe, whoever this woman is, was also personally threatened by Epstein. Okay, she didn't say that Donald Trump threatened her. She said that Epstein threatened her, meaning Tiffany Doe. And she said that she heard Trump tell Katie that she shouldn't ever say anything if she didn't want to disappear like the 12-year-old female Maria, and that he was capable of having her whole family killed. So here's the obvious questions. First of all, why was only a portion of this document shared? Why was only a portion of page 2 shared by Donald Trump's DOJ? And then if these allegations are fake, why hasn't Donald Trump sued these women? They could be found, right? We know who her attorney was. The attorney for Katie Johnson, her second and final attorney, was Lisa Bloom. And here's the other thing you guys need to understand and know so you can combat the lies about this. They keep saying, oh, this was debunked, and the judge threw these charges out. No, none of that is true. First of all, she filed this case 3 times. The first time Katie Johnson filed this, she filed it under a different name. She filed it under Jane Doe, I believe. She filed it herself. She did not have an attorney. She filed it here in California. Okay. That was not the proper venue because the alleged crimes occurred in New York. So the judge in California said, you can't file this here. Okay. She then filed a second time with an attorney who was a friend of hers. The attorney was a patent attorney. He was not a criminal attorney. He was not a civil litigation attorney. So he didn't know what he was doing. So when he filed the second lawsuit, he asked for Trump and Epstein to go to prison. He asked for them to face some sort of criminal prosecution. The judge threw that out because the judge said, you can't ask for that. It's way beyond the, the period of time where you could have asked for criminal charges and for either of these men to go to prison over this. The statute of limitations has run out long ago, okay? She then went and got an attorney who actually deals with cases like this, being Lisa Bloom. And Lisa Bloom filed the third lawsuit. Okay, she was her final attorney. They were going to hold a press conference in November of 2016 about this. And then she got scared because she and her family were getting death threats. I was told this personally by Lisa Bloom, that her client, meaning Katie Johnson, was too afraid to come forward. I was told this in person at an event. If you guys want to look it up, you can confirm this. It was a vegan event. It was hosted by the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. Okay, it was held in the Hollywood Hills at someone's home. Moby was there. A ton of people. All the who's who, Jane Velez Mitchell, all these people who are well known in the vegan industry, which is why Lisa Bloom was there. I went as a guest or not as a guest, but I went because I donate to their organization. Anyway, that is where I approached her. We had never met before. I introduced myself and I asked her specifically about this case. So this case was never adjudicated. It was never brought before a court. In fact, if you want to get technical, the judge looked at the original filing, which Donald Trump tried to have thrown out, and the judge said, no, I'm going to allow it to move forward. Because she had a witness who signed, again, this sworn testimony, this sworn statement under penalty of perjury. So a judge allowed it to move forward. She is the one who ended up dropping it out of fear. So again, why is Donald Trump not suing her? Why is he not suing this Tiffany Doe? He sues everyone, right? We know that. He sues newspapers. I mean, for Christ's sakes, just in the last year, how many people has he sued? He has sued pollsters. He has sued universities. He's now threatening to sue freaking Trevor Noah for making a joke about him. I mean, the guy is sue happy. He's suing the IRS. But yet he hasn't sued a single woman who has accused him of sexual assault. That's called a clue, MAGA. That's called another clue. So anyway, guys, there you go. I will let you know if I hear any more. But again, share this information, please, because it will get buried because of the subject matter. So thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.